In this tutorial, I'll show you how to blur edges and apply a feather effect in Canva. We'll go through a few different ways to do this so you can pick the one that fits your design best. I'll cover using blur and gradient elements, the Frame Blur app, the Image Mixer app, and the basic blur adjustment for a soft background. Follow along on your own Canva design while I walk you through it. First, open Canva and load the design or image you want to work on. This could be a YouTube thumbnail, a social media post, or any custom size. Once your design is open, click on your main image and make sure it's sitting on the canvas where you want it. It helps to have your background color or background image already set because the feather effect will blend into that background. Now let's start with the method that gives you the most control, using blur or gradient elements to create a feathered edge. On the left side, click on the Elements tab. In the search bar at the top, type words like blur, gradient, fade, or vignette. Canva will show you a mix of shapes and overlays. Look for soft gradient shapes that go from solid in the center to transparent at the edges or the opposite. These are perfect for creating that smooth feathered look. Click one of these gradient or blur elements to add it to your canvas. Resize it by dragging the corners so it covers the edge of your image that you want to fade. You can rotate it so the transparent side sits on top of your image, and the more solid side blends outward, or flip it depending on how the gradient is built. The idea is to use the soft part of the element to hide the edge of your image gradually. With the element selected, go to the top toolbar and adjust the transparency. Lower the transparency until the edge looks softly blended instead of harsh. You can also change the color of the gradient using the color picker. Match it to your background color if you want the image to fade directly into the background. From here, repeat the same process for all sides you want to feather. Just copy and paste that gradient element, rotate it for each edge, stretch it as needed, and fine-tune the transparency. This method is great because you control exactly how strong and how wide the feather effect is. Next, let's look at the Frame Blur app for a quick edge fade. On the left side, click on Apps. If you don't see it right away, use the search bar and type Frame Blur. Open the Frame Blur app. Follow the prompts to apply it to your photo. Frame Blur is designed to create a soft fade or vignette around your image without you having to manually build gradients. Once it loads, adjust the available sliders to control how strong the blur is and how far it reaches into the image. When you're happy with it, apply the effect, and it will add that smooth, blurred edge directly to your image. Now let's move to the Image Mixer app, which is useful for blending images together. Again, go to Apps and search for Image Mixer. Open it, then add your main image and if needed, a background or second image you want to blend into. Image Mixer will let you control how those images mix, often with blending and transparency controls. Use this to create a soft transition where your subject fades into a background like a gradient-style feathered edge. Adjust the blend until the edges of your main image feel soft and natural. From here, if you want a simple soft focus background instead of just feathered edges, you can use Canva's built-in blur adjustment. Click on your image, then go to Edit Image at the top. In the Adjust section, look for the blur slider. Drag it up to increase blur on the entire image. This works really well when you want the background to look soft and out of focus while you place sharp text or another image on top. If your subject and background are separate layers, you can blur just the background layer, which creates a clean depth of field effect. To combine this with a gradient feather, you can blur the image, then use the gradient shapes from elements to gently fade the edges into the canvas color. That gives you a smooth vignette effect, where the center stays more visible and the sides fall off softly. Once everything looks the way you want, zoom out and check the design as a whole. Make sure the edges look smooth, the colors of your gradients match or complement the background, and nothing feels too heavy or too obvious. Tweak transparency, size, and blur until it looks natural. That's all you need to blur edges and apply a feather effect in Canva using gradient shapes, the Frame Blur app, the Image Mixer app, and the basic blur adjustment.